entrepreneurs, are you trying to make bigger profits in your small business? Like many of us, I'm sure you're feeling it. Business is hard, and now more than ever, you need to have a plan to help your business not just survive, but thrive. I'm Marcia Reiner. I'm a business growth strategist on a mission. I've helped tons of small business owners to establish and implement tangible plans that guarantees increased profitability and guide your growth. I want to share some of those strategies that I've earned and learned on today's Profit with a Plan podcast. But before we get started, I have something to share with you. I've got this great 5 ways to turn your business into an attractive piece that's worth selling. So go pick that up on my website at trajectorybiz, that's biz.com. So I'm really excited to have my guest with me. He's a friend of mine here locally, Peter.Black. Pete is a commercial and relationship banking officer with California Bank and Trust with over 20 years banking experience, dedicated to helping business owners manage and improve their capital structure to meet their vision. It's all about planning, guys. Pete is experienced in all sorts of business loans, business or lines of credit, and commercial property financing. Prior to joining California Bank and Trust 3 years ago, Pete was a senior relationship manager at Pacific Premier Bank and Opus Bank, assisting in businesses with funding to meet their growth objectives. Pete maintains an active role in supporting organizations such as the Junior Achievement and Banking on Youth to help mentor youth people to learn about business and money management skills. Great things. Pete also earned his bachelor's of business at Michigan State University. Is that Wolverines? No, I'm probably butchering that one. And lives in South Orange County. So welcome to the podcast, Pete. I'm so glad you're here.
Hi, good morning, Marcia. Me too. It's called Go Green. We're the green team.
Green team, cool.
Yeah, I guess we're the UCLA of Michigan, kind of. But thank you so much for letting me join you. I want to first open up and say this is an amazing service you're doing. I went through some of your historical podcasts. It's amazing. So I want to focus and assist folks as best I can.
Awesome. Well, we have a great conversation set up for today. One of the things that I know that business owners forget or maybe don't develop as strong as they should is that banking business relationship. You know, they go online, there's so many banks online, they think, oh, I can scan my check, I don't need to go into the branch. But I think business banking relationships are super important to develop before you need it, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So tell me about what a typical business relationship looks like with you and your clients.
Yeah, good. That's a good overall question. Well, what is a relationship? Obviously, it's similar to any other relationship. So, it's a two-way street, meaning hopefully you have in your business relationships with your advisors, and you're going to have a very solid one and intimate, to be lack of a better word, with your CPA and the people that plan your financial future and how your taxes and your statements look. And then obviously on my side, banking is how your capital looks, how it looks today, how it looks in the future. So to me, a relationship is when people come to me, even if it's not about business. To me, a relationship is to me when you have some symbiotic sharing of information, because, I rely on my clients for new business too. I mean, the referral game, not a game, the referral atmosphere is how we all thrive, as you say. So a relationship to me is a two-sided exchange, and it's cultivated. It's nurtured. Not every day, even once a month, even twice a year, I meet with clients, and it's like you met them yesterday. That's a relationship.
Fantastic. I love that. Well, it is really important that you build a certain team around you as business owner. One of those is like you mentioned your CPA. You don't talk to the CPA every week, but you're working with that CPA to do the things that you need throughout the year. Another one is an attorney. You may not need that attorney now, but you probably want to schedule once or twice a year a meeting with that attorney to make sure you're lined up. Well, the business banking relationship is just as important as those two other ones, because I think when you have a need for your money and how to manage it and what are you doing to improve it, throughout the year because you're saving some, you're buying equipment, you're running your credit card charges. These are all relationships that are perfect through your business banker.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't want to come up with a tagline this close into it, but maybe so is think about it like this way. The old adage used to be, which is not really true, is people who when they have money, they don't need money, or when they need money, it's tougher to get. That's kind of true, kind of not true. But what I thought of was, I wrote it down, is, if you don't have a relationship with your banker and it's a tough deal, it's tougher to get done. Let's just put it that way. I can go back on one of my first large deals here 3 years ago, and I had to go to the upper level management, and I couldn't explain why it wasn't getting done. In fact, she said it one sentence. She said, "Relationships, Pete." And I said, "What does she mean by that?" She had the phone number of somebody that I could never get to in the bank. Yeah. So relationships are cultivated. To establish them, it's because you may or may not need them in the future, but you can't build one and have a result the next day.
So true. So true. And you know what? I think all businesses will need one in the future, whether it's a business line of credit, or it's a commercial property purchase, or they're looking to cut their fees a little bit, or maybe they're just looking for a new credit card. These are relationships that can really help you out in the future as a business owner when you want to raise capital. And so that's why I had you on today, because I know it's so important. We're all looking at different ways to grow our business, and capital is one of those. And you can't do it like you said. You can't walk in and go, "Hi, I'm Marcia. Your name's Pete. Fantastic. I need $1 million line of credit. Can you help me with that?" And Pete, you're going to go, "What? I don't know who you are." Right.
It's part of that. And in thinking with that is, it's funny because you're leading right into what I was going to talk about in a minute. Good. Here is, believe it or not, the end game may or may not be how, obviously, the end game to me is one of 3 prongs, right? And then I'll get into the end game of success. So real briefly, and I'm kind of off track here, but I think of myself as something resonated with me, and it's a 3-prong idea that as a banker or of service, that's number 1. I need to be of service. Number 2, I need to have knowledge. I can't go running around without knowledge. So I got to keep that up. Number 3, believe it or not, is you got to be a scrapper. You've got to be a champion and an advocate for your client. And that's how deals get done. The other way deals get done, of course, we're in advisors too. That's the 4th prong. But the other way deals get done is exactly what you were leading up to. Believe it or not, a true business bank. I'm a true business bank, Cal Bank and Trust. I'm devoted, hopefully, to the servicing and the prosperity and the growth for the future of a business, be it small, medium, or large. And what I meant by that was, therefore, guess what? Relationship rates. Yeah. I don't have a sheet rate. I'm giving experience and I'm giving longevity, but also giving them the fact that I'm your quarterback. I'm your point guard. I don't know everything, but I will get you everything and anything if it means the retaining of that relationship that's mutual. It's symbiotic. So that's how I roll. I mean, that's how we do it here.
But that's fantastic. And that's what the business owner and the consumer needs to understand, right? That there are things you can get with friends with benefits.
No kidding.
Friends with benefits, you can get a better rate on your line of credit. You can get a better rate on, even your personal lines or homes or, car things, whatever you need in your business and in your financial life. It requires that relationship to get a better opportunity, to get a better rate, maybe to get, well, hey, we're business owners, so our income is not as, traditional as a W-2 employee. We have, odd things that go on. We have ups and downs in our income. Maybe we take a small, piece of the income, but, all of our expenses get paid out of the business. business bankers like yourself understand that, rather than going off to some online bank who may have, a great rate, but they're not going to understand how us business owners run our income and our statements and pay ourselves to be able to qualify for that kind of financing and loans. So I think
Yeah.
that's why it's really important to have someone that understands business owners.
No, absolutely. Your lead-in is perfect, and my goodness, you opened up a huge
Can of worms.
flowering tree here for me. But that is reality. Reality is the better a banker understands a business owner, and the better that business owner reaches back at the appropriate time, it's going to be a positive experience. So my quick example, very quick, and this is hopefully appropriate because it probably came into play with many of the business owners, was the PPP program. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect example right here. We obviously were getting calls from people we never heard of and people that may or may have not been rate shoppers in the past, right? Well, what occurred was we decided to be of service. We decided to open up everything for the future opportunity of that relationship. So we were getting calls predominantly from people with other banks that didn't have that relationship. They didn't have that person who would champion that extra application or stay overtime or whatnot. I don't hope this doesn't happen again, but we worked 45 straight days.
Wow.
So I did 78 PPP loans.
Wow.
I don't know how many thousands of jobs were affected. Don't even have time to think about that. But our bank became number 6 in the country.
Wow.
And PPP loans provided. And we're only maybe the top 30 banks in the country based out of Salt Lake. So the example is when you are in a relationship or you see a potential, I'm going to reach out too. But when you come to me and ask for something and there's no future, it's really not the kind of bank we are. I mean, I hate to say that, but you would get that at a larger bank that's more cookie cutter. And that's okay for some people. That's okay for some people. Don't get me wrong. But a true business owner hopefully sees the value of a relationship.
Absolutely. And I think that's why I'm trying to bring light to that, because there are times, whether you need that line of credit for some new equipment or a new hire or something breaks down, you're only going to get that through a relationship. So let me ask you something, and this is kind of going to timestamp us right now. I heard a rumor yesterday that one of the big banks canceled all the line of credits that were out there because they were a little out of whack in their balance sheets, and so they pulled all the lines of credit. I mean, if you have a relationship or you have a smaller bank that runs smooth, right, and is really operating well, then I don't know that you're going to have that kind of big bank problem when you have that relationship with a smaller bank such as yours.
Well, that's an amazing point you make. And I have said maybe too often times a certain large bank, we don't have to name them. And they say, oh, well, what do you think of them? I go, after I hear complaints, I go, I love them. I go, what do you mean, Pete? I go, because that's where I get my customers. I get my customers from big banks. So that overall, I don't know about that rumor, but it is true that when you have a large bank that has a massive amount of processes, they might strike one button that says we're freezing all lines for businesses under 3 million to 100,000. I don't care if they're overdrawn. This is what we have to do to get our back room in shape. And it's like, wow, I wouldn't want to work for a bank like that. So what that portends into, Marcia, real quickly, is not only on the relationship with the banker is important, but it's that person who's going to get you that exception. That's what we call it. An exception is when I go to bat for the client and the client is worthy and is acknowledging that I need your support because I'm giving you support. And who cares what the upper level people say? I can get this done for you.
Nice. And I think that's the relationship side of it. So when we're talking relationships, just to kind of understand, it's not Marcia and Pete know each other, shake hands, go out to lunch, that kind of thing. It's more along the lines of products that you have in bank, right? I use this example when I explain how my clients should develop model banks to create relationships. You get your checking account there. You set up a savings account. You have a auto loan there. You have a credit card there. You have a home equity line there. You do your home line there. These are relationships, right? These are the multiple kinds of relationships. And the more relationships, more products, solutions that you can engage in with that bank, that steps you up in your tier as well, correct?
That's absolutely right. And that's, you led me down that path and I took a turn. So that's absolutely right. Say there's a weakness, like you said, there's a downturn. My goodness, 2020, there are a lot of explanations had to come through that we have to understand and things like that. So my job is to acknowledge those, but look for strengths. So my question is going to be, hey, this business was affected this way. What about that property you have that's free and clear? They go, well, if you use that equity, I can assist you in providing the supportive capital to this business segment or this need or that need. So the more I know, the more I find strengths. And when I find strengths, I build a case. When I build a case, that deal's going to get done.
Love it.
So I have a lot of weapons. You're not just talking to one person here. You're talking to probably, maybe too many personalities. But I have a segment that just does SBA. I know plenty about that. I'm not an expert. I don't want to be an expert.
But you have partners.
Correct. I want to be a partner. I have a private bank partner. I have a personal wealth management partner. I have other higher risk partners. I have other types of partners on these products you mentioned. I'm across the hall from the business epicenter of Orange County for Cal Bank and Trust right here in Irvine. I've got a lot of experienced people like that I can snap to and be that point guard and dish the right services to the client, assuming they need them, not forcing them, never selling a product. Fitting a product, tailoring a solution, looking for that strength.
Good stuff. That's really important in the business banking world. One of the things that I think business owners often forget is lining up their assets, right? And using them in the most effective way that can leverage the company positively. And let me explain that a little bit. The CPA looks at your previous year and says, oh, you've got these, you depreciated that value, you did this, you did that, right? And this is the ultimate goal of the taxes you have to pay. Well, there's also business assets that you have that can help your business grow and make your business look better than maybe you originally thought, than just the cash on hand and the revenue coming in kind of things and the debts you have. So California Bank, I know you guys look, like you just explained, how to use other assets to strengthen your company. Is that right?
Yeah. That's just one role. Like I said, when I look for avenues of a solution, that's a relationship. That's what we call deepening the relationship. Mm-hmm. Some people might think a relationship is opening accounts, maybe have a mic land, maybe talking once in a while. Kind of. But a real relationship, hey, what's down the road? How can I advise you? Hey, I got your CPA's information from last year. Have you done a projection for this year? They go, why? Well, so we know if we need to make a move early part of the year, we'll be all set up, right? So as far as the capital efforts you meant, right? Specifically, we could talk about specific examples, but I'll give you one real quick one, one easy one. Okay. Now they're a pretty strong company. And I got a great referral from an internal partner, and they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do, either to take out money and start paying interest right away or having another way of doing it. I said, well, why don't you get a commercial equity line? What's that? I go, well, it's treated like a home equity line, meaning you have a lot of equity here. You don't need the funds there. We're going to solve your immediate needs, and your future structuring can be supported by availability of funds that are tied to the property, and I don't have to prove much in additional reporting. Is that what you were leaning towards?
It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. That's a real example. And we're talking, a sizable loan. So one that can make a difference.
I think it's just giving the business owner ideas. So when so my whole practice and my whole philosophy is making sure that your business is in a position to be sold someday, whenever that is, and a strong business is an attractive business, and a strong business right now has a lot of opportunities. And when you partner up with a banker and you have the opportunities that you make your business stronger. And it's just one more pillar that I think is so important that business owners forget about, is how to strengthen their financial side, their ability to borrow, their relationships, the time that they have in bringing the money in before it goes out. These are cash flow options, and it can only be done with a business banking relationship. It can't be done on your own.
Yeah, no, Marcia, you're exactly right. So that's perfect. So your role is to one of your roles is to be an advisor and help people see the path down should they consider a sale or an acquisition or to be acquired or a merger or whatnot. That's perfect. I would have a minor role in that, but I need to be in touch with those advisors, folks like you, folks like a business attorney, folks like somebody might raise additional capital, and then I'm going to go in and say, hey, I see some debt on here that we could probably clean up. Or hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? So I play a role in that too, and that's exactly right. The future path of the company needs a number of advisors, and I'd be a supportive role in that. That's extremely important.
Yeah, so it's great to have. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things. We talked about the relationship so deeply, but let's talk in generality about product solutions that maybe the business owner didn't know about that could benefit their company and ultimately their cash flow and profitability. So we know about the commercial line, right? What other kind of products and solutions should the business owner know about?
Sure. Well, it depends on the size of the business and the growth path. So one things that I maybe I self-taught myself this, but I used to ask 3 questions. I don't anymore. I'd say, hey, where have you been with the business? Tell me the history. That means I can learn. Where are you at now? That means I have a clear picture of what can be done. And where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? I ask those 3 questions sometimes when appropriate. And then I can carve out something. So you're exactly right. We could do a line of credit that's unsecured, a small line, meaning, well, why do I need that, Pete? I have a credit card. I go, well, your credit card is one thing, but that's not business credit. That doesn't establish a relationship with me. Okay, great, Pete. What's the next step? I said, well, we might be able to improve your home equity line. Well, why do I need that? Well, you probably don't need it now, but I've noticed your neighbors, have gone up, 300,000. Have you revisited that? Just like revisiting an insurance policy. But my main focus is going to be, you're absolutely right, availability of capital in a business line of credit, which is based on the profitability or potentially some of the assets and the receivables in the backlog. I'm going to look at term loans. Very important. Term loans are going to let me clean up old debt and allow a improved cash flow without stringing it along another 40 years. Not that, but improve the cash flow picture so that, believe it or not, at 12/31/21, you'll see an improvement, 20, 30, 40,000. Why? Because you're paying that less in interest and you've gotten rid of some debt that you just kept dragging along, be it for a service truck, be it for equipment, be it for even technology. The mainstay is the big fish, obviously, is commercial real estate. Any current small business that doesn't understand that they can work with me to do a before and after picture of rent versus buy using maybe the SBA program, which is just 10% down. And then I'm going to leave my punchline on that because, as I mentioned to you earlier, the rates, it's a shame to not take advantage of the attractive rates right now. We'll chat on that in a minute.
Yeah, but that's a fantastic idea because most business owners don't think they can buy the building that they're in. But that's a huge, huge investment in your business that you could make that could actually lead to retirement income later on. You can like here's the thought that I always highlight with my business owners is if you own the property and you own the business inside the business, they can be two separate entities. And then when you sell your business later on, that business can rent back the property to you and you have a lifetime of income coming on that. So there are huge advantages to consider buying business property, small building. They got business condos. They've got, sure, 20-story buildings, which would be fantastic. But even the business condo that you're in, if you're a small micro-sized business, is still an advantage for you. And like you said, Pete, it's so easy to get, right? With SBA?
Yeah, I mean, easy is one term, but like I said, the rates are so attractive. Yeah, the rates are so attractive that right now it's just kind of a golden time. Now, the other flip side of that is, is we're kind of in a hot real estate market too. But not only, and maybe inflationary, but not only values going up. And I'm not talking residential. Residential is completely different. And that's probably seen a bigger boost. But commercially, the amount of lease you'll get per square foot has gone up pretty nicely in our area, which means more rents, you can get a better size loan, or it fits the loan better. But yeah, that's one way of doing it. So yeah, I think we're a very strong SBA lender, and that's very important for smaller businesses. And then to recognize that, hey, let's talk about the future of this property. And I had a quick flashback, I hope you don't mind, but there was a pretty good documentary on McDonald's, the McDonald's story. You probably I forgot the name of it. And Michael Keaton was the guy. So at one point in time, which I knew was coming, he says, "We're not in the burger business, guys. We're in the real estate. We're in the real estate business." Meaning they wanted to control plots to build and then develop and sell that whole package to franchisees. And boom.
Right.
That full service is what created the empire.
Wow, that's fantastic. And also, if you think about it, the opportunity of buying that land, you end up paying yourself the rent. Right. And then there's much more tax deductions that you can have because you're paying yourself the rent and not just having an expense that's going to be there anyways, right? Why not pay it into your own pocket or to pay your own loan than to do that? And so, yeah, there's so many opportunities. Business owners, we just want you to think about all the important things that you can do with the money that you have coming in and the money that's going out, and how to maximize that in the most potential way by having a relationship with a banker, a business banker that can help you grow your business. I mean, that's what we're all here for, right? If you're not growing your business, you're dead.
Yeah, that's kind of true. So Marcia, one quick point on that, I'll be very quick, and we haven't talked about this, was transparency. So transparency is the way I believe in, and I was taught this early on my banking. I mean, you don't give away the farm of information or proprietary, but I show business owners how the bank looks at the deal on one page. So I'm going to say, this is the income, these are the expected expenses, this is the expected, what we call debt service, this is reality. You can do this. Here's the rents you're paying. We add those back. That's your credit. Those are going away. These are things that a business owner might not have time to put together, and a commercial real estate broker is really not going to know what goes on with the bank. You need a good banker to lead you or shepherd you to reality. And reality is a lot of people don't understand that they can gain that property. They can put that foothold and they can keep it or, within the family and earn in the future.
It's a business asset that we all need to look at. Our employees are a business asset. Our equipment is our business asset. And, our money is a business asset. So make it strong, do all the right things with it. And so I would encourage you listeners to go out and find a relationship with a banker. Pete's awesome. He's local here in California, but Pete, don't you have other opportunities? I mean, with people all over the area?
Yeah, I do. So 2 quick points is that the nice thing that I've always found is that we're a business bank in California called California Bank and Trust, larger than a community bank, but not a big, slow, plodding bank. So I'm a business bank, but I have the resources of a large bank, and we're based out of Salt Lake City. They have 7 affiliate sister banks, so to speak. So I'm in 11 Western states, and we have an international banking department as well.
Fantastic. Lots of opportunities. All right, Pete. So you told us California Bank and Trust. Where can listeners find out more about you and maybe some of the solutions you provide? Or if they're out of state, maybe the referral that they're looking for to the next business banker they can get with.
Yeah, that's all true. I'd encourage them just to go to our website at it's just www.calbt or calbanktrust.com. It's kind of like Cal Bacon, lettuce, and tomato, I guess, is what I think of sometimes. My name is Pete.Black, but my email is Peter.Black at calbank.com. And that's fantastic, Marcia. Can I tell you about my kicker, my punchline?
Yeah, come on, give it to us.
Okay, so my punchline to all the folks considering commercial real estate and the window's getting tighter between now and the end of October, rates are the lowest I've seen in my history in banking. So without further deep,
Just share it with us. Tell us.
I'm spitting out my punchline too slowly. For owner-occupied purchases or refinances, please listen. 0.90 for the first 12 months, below 1%, fixed.
Wow.
The next 9 years, 2.99, fixed. Fees, 0.00. Opportunity to go out to 30-year amortization, which is unheard of in commercial properties. Again, purchase or refi must be owner-occupied, meaning your business occupies 51% of the area, and that operating business, it could be profit or nonprofit, could be both, they help pay the bills. So 0.90, 2.99, 10-year fixed, our money, even if rates double in the next 2 months, but they won't, that prepay shortened down after 2.5 years, you're free to go.
Wow.
And a $5,000 credit at closing towards appraisal and other reports. 5,000 credit.
Wow. If that's not free, I don't know.
Off the hook. So my lines are open.
Your lines are open.
I hate to celebrate, but I got to be honest with you. This environment, business owners need to be aware of the window that they have.
It's an incredible opportunity. And with help like companies from yourself, almost anybody can get approved. If you're a solid business, if you're a growing business and you can get your books together and make yourself, and didn't you say super low down? If it's SBA or, 20% down or, there's opportunities.
10% down.
10% down.
So those rates I just mentioned apply to what's essentially a 90% loan to value with
crazy.
An SBA transaction called the 504, which I partner with, obviously. And another silly, ridiculous kicker, we're running out of time here. Not us, but the SBA is still saying they will pay your first 2 months of payments of their portion, up to $9,000 a month. But that ends end of September. So,
but there's opportunities. Those kind of opportunities, business owners don't know about. They think they've got to have, they got to buy it outright, or they've got to have stellar credit, or they've got to have all these things. When you have a business banker such as yourself in California Bank and Trust, that they're going to go to bat for you. They're going to work with you. They're going to tell you what you need to do. They're going to help you with your CPA and get everything working right, because, they want your relationship and they want to help you thrive. And that's, to me, what every business needs to have, is someone behind them saying, we want to help you grow. We want to help you succeed, right? You can't do it alone. So have a bank to help you with it. Fantastic.
I'll go to bat for them. What can I say?
Love it. Love it. Love it. Hey, listeners, this has been a fantastic conversation today. I hope you've gotten an idea or two to help your business become more profitable. And just a reminder, now more than ever, it's important to have your own profit plan, and having a business relationship and the potential to buy your property or have a line of credit. That's part of that profit plan. It's making sure every opportunity is your way. So don't forget to pick up my 5 ways to turn your business into one worth selling right now. Go to my website, trajectorybiz, that's biz.com. And Pete and I would love to hear your questions or feedback on today's show. Comment, please. And don't forget to subscribe. We'd love to have you catch us for future shows when this great information. And as Pete said earlier, I've got a history of over 100 shows with value in there. So subscribe, join us. You can always catch Profit with a Plan on any of your favorite podcast players, and we're looking forward to more great profitable information on next week's show. So until then, make your plans and profit with them. Thanks, Pete.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, Marcia. Thank you.